Welcome to Live Daf, your online Daf Yomi shir.
Shalom Brachos, and welcome back to today's Daf Yomi Brachos Daf Nun Gimel. We are Nun Beis, Amud Beis, 5 lines from the bottom, Ein Mevarchen. Now we know that on Motzei Shabbos one is meant to make a bracha on a flame in order to commemorate, to be as a zikaron for the fire that Adam HaRishon created on his Motzei Shabbos, on his first Motzei Shabbos. We make a bracha on besam, on fragrance, in order to restore and to reinvigorate ourselves on account of us having lost our neshama yisera. Now the Mishnah teaches us that on a flame or besamim of a nachri, one is not meant to make a bracha by Havdalah Motzei Shabbos. It's unsuitable. Says in Bishleim in there, we understand why the flame of a nachri is unsuitable because it hasn't rested on Shabbos. He kindled it on Shabbos, he adjusted it on Shabbos, hasn't rested on Shabbos. And in order for a flame to be suitable, it needs to be a Ursha Shabbos, a flame that rested on Shabbos. Just as the fire created by Adam HaRishon was after the Shabbos experience, so too the flame that we use to commemorate that fire needs to be a flame that rested on Shabbos. And therefore, the flame of a non-Jew is unsuitable. Ella besam in my time, what's wrong with the besam of a non-Jew? Amar Vida Marav, hocha b'mesibas, oide kachav maskina. We're speaking about items that we use during the banquet, the non-Jewish banquet. Mipnei because shestam mesibas oide kachav lavoid zori. Because generally speaking, the banquets of the non-Jews are directed to honor, to serve their avodah zarah, and therefore an item used to serve and to honor avodah zarah is unsuitable for us. We can't derive benefit from it. Certainly we can make a bracha on it. So that's the reason. Says more, is that really the reason? Let's take a look at the next part of the Mishnah. From the fact that the Mishnah continues and says as follows: the ner or the b'sam of avodah zarah of idols is unsuitable. Apparently, says the Gemara, Mechlal Dereisha, the first halacha, which tells us that the flame or b'sam of a non-Jew is unsuitable, is for a different reason. It's not related to the reason of avodah zarah. That's the reason of the second halacha, not the first. Mechlal Dereisha lav avodah zarah askinan. If so, what is the reason? Indeed, that is the reason. And the Mishnah is merely a continuous statement. What is the reason? Why, indeed, is the ner and sum of a non-Jew unsuitable? Continues the Mishnah, the reason is because we're speaking about items used during the banquets of the non-Jews. And generally speaking, the banquets of the non-Jews are directed in honor and to serve the avodah zarah. So the Mishnah is simply telling us one halacha. The items of the non-Jewish banquet are unsuitable for us because they're directed in honor of avodah zarah. Continues the Gemara Tanur Rabbanan. Ursha Shabbos, a flame that rested on Shabbos, mevarchen alav, is suitable for the bracha. V'shaloi Shabbos, but if it hasn't rested, ein mevarchen alav. Says my Shabbos, my lo Shabbos. What is the definition of rested, hasn't rested? What does this mean? Inei maloi Shabbos machmas malacha. It means that lo Shabbos, if it hasn't rested, machmas malacha, it wasn't kindled on Shabbos, afilu me malacha de teira, even though it was kindled for a heter, something which was permitted, something which was obligated, it was for pikuach nefesh purposes, for somebody that was seriously ill, or for a woman that was giving birth. That's also considered to be lo Shabbos. Va'atanya, but haven't we learned in the Brisa? Ur shel chay v'shel chayla, a flame that was kindled for a woman giving birth, or for a chayla mevarchen alav. It is suitable for the bracha. Amar Rachmar Yitzchak, my Shabbos. What is the definition of Shabbos? Shabbos machmas melachas aveira. A melachas aveira wasn't done to it. It wasn't kindled on Shabbos for other purposes than pikuach nefesh. For instance, if a non-Jew kindled this flame on Shabbos, that is considered to be a lo Shabbos, since he did a malacha. But if it was kindled for the sake of pikuach nefesh, that is not considered to be lo Shabbos. Pikuach nefesh is an obligation. It's a mitzvah. It's a chiyuv. That is part of Kedusha's Shvisas Shabbos. That is not a contradiction to Shabbos, and certainly is considered to be an Ursha Shabbos. Tani Namahachi, we learned a brisa and support, which teaches us this concept as well, that only a flame which wasn't kindled on Shabbos is suitable. A lantern and ashashes, that was burning throughout Shabbos. It was kindled on Erev Shabbos and burnt throughout the Shabbos in the home of a Jew. Certainly we can make a bracha on it on Motzei Shabbos, although it was lit on Shabbos, but it wasn't kindled on Shabbos. It was kindled on Erev Shabbos, therefore it's considered to be an Ur Shesh Shabbos. Continues the Gemara, Tanar Rabbanan, we learned in the Brisa, Nachri shehidlik Yisrael, Yisrael shehidlik Nachri. If a Nachri lit his flame from a Jewish flame, or vice versa, Yisrael got his fire from a non-Jewish fire, Mevarach Nalav, it is suitable, we can make a bracha on Motzei Shabbos. Nachri, but if a Nachri got his fire from another Nachri, that fire is not suitable. So well, let's explain this. Why, when a guy takes his fire from another guy, it's unsuitable? Because the fire hasn't rested on Shabbos. It was kindled on Shabbos. The original fire was kindled on Shabbos. Says so, same thing when a Yisrael gets his fire from the Goyish fire that was kindled on Shabbos. That is also like Shabbos. If we reckon with the source fire, so what is the difference between both halachas? Perhaps you will say that the original fire has disappeared, is gone. And the second fire is a new fire, it's a regenerated fire. And was reborn in the hand of the Israel, meaning that the fire is constantly reinventing itself, recreating itself. The new fire is continuously replacing the old fire. Therefore, when the Yisrael gets his fire from the Nachri, although the original fire was unsuitable, but the present fire has no relation to the original fire, to its source. It's a brand new fire, it's a brand new entity. Therefore, it's a Rosh Hashanah and suitable for the bracha. If that's the case, how are you going to understand the next halacha? Ela Hadasani, we learned in the Brachos. If one carries a flame out from Rosh Hashanah, from a private domain to Rosh Hashanah, a public domain, chayav. That is considered to be a melacha of Eitzah on Shabbos, and he is chayiv. Am I chayiv? Why is he liable? Masha akar lo yiniach, u'masha yiniach lo yakar. If you maintain that a fire is constantly rejuvenating, constantly renewing itself, and there's nothing of the source fire remaining any longer, if so, when a person carries a flame from Rosh Hashanah to Rosh Hashanah, we know that for Eitzah, for the melacha of Eitzah, we require that one picks the object off the ground, is oiker, picks it up from one domain and deposits it, is maniach, into the second domain. It needs to be the same object. If the shalheves, the flame, is constantly renewing itself, so when he goes ahead and he lifts the shalheves off the Rosh Hashanah and brings it to Rosh Hashanah, now it's an entirely different flame. It's a different entity. It's a new object. So therefore, there's no malachas eitzah. Again, says the Gemara, Masha Akar, what he lifted, the object that he lifted off the Rosh Hashanah, lo yiniach. It's not the same entity, it's not the same object that he will deposit in Rosh Hashanah. U'masha yiniach, what he puts down in Rosh Hashanah, lo yakar, isn't the same object that he picked up. So, evidently, you must say that there's something still here from the source, and it's still somewhat the same entity. Says the more you write, Ella la'olam disur namisi. You must say that part of the original fire is still present. That explains why he's chayav when he's moitzi shalevis. If so, how are you going to explain the halacha where Yisrael took his fire from Nachri? We permit him to make the bracha on this flame, although there's something there from the original fire, which was the goyish fire, which was loy Shabbos, says the Gemara v'chikam mevarech. However, the bracha that will be said is at Tosefta de terikam mevarech. It will be directed to the Tosefes, to what's added, meaning although there's some little bit of the original fire there, but the fire is definitely adding to itself. And he will make a bracha on the new portion of the fire. And that is certainly suitable. That is Ur Shavas. That is not the fire of the guy. Says the Gemara, if so, if so, let's apply the same rationale to the case where one guy takes his fire from the other guy, although the original fire is an Ur Shavas. However, since the second Nachri has a fire which contains a new part, a portion which was reinvented after Shabbos, which is added after Shabbos, that is suitable. So why can't he make a bracha there? Says the more you're right. You're right. Al pi din, it should be allowed. However, there's a gzera. There's a gzera de Rabbanan. Rabbanan said that when a nachri gets his fire from another nachri, perhaps people won't differentiate. They'll say, well, if you can use the nachri fire, let's go to the original nachri. We could use his fire as well. People won't make that distinction, and perhaps they will go and erroneously make a bracha on the original fire in the hands of the first guy. And perhaps, as Rashi explains, they will make the bracha as Shabbos ends. And there won't even be enough time for the fire to add to itself. So they will be making a bracha on the actual original fire, which was like Shabbos. Says the Gemara, there's a gzera on account of the first guy and the first pillar of fire, meaning the fire that was the original fire, the fire that was like Shabbos, without even giving it a chance to add to itself and add a part of Lo Shabbos. Therefore, the Chacham said that fire found in the hands of a guy is unsuitable if the guy took it from another guy, because they will say, what's the difference between this guy and that guy? If I'm allowed to make a bracha on the fire in the hands of a second guy, why can't I just go back to the first guy? However, in the case where Yisrael took it from a guy took it from Yisrael, since over there's a Yisrael involved, therefore people will make that differentiation and won't come to make this same error. Certainly you can use the fire in the hands of Yisrael, even though you got it from a guy, or you can use the fire in the hands of a guy since you got it from Yisrael. There's no room for error. However, in this case, where a guy took it from another guy, people will say, well, it's all goyim. What's the difference in this guy or that guy? Let's just go back to the original guy. And therefore, the Chachamim said that fire is unsuitable. Continues the Gemara, Tan Rabbanan. If one is taking a walk outside the city, and he sees a flame, can he make a bracha on it? If the majority of the inhabitants of the city are goyim, he can't make a bracha on it. As we mentioned earlier, the ur of a nachri is unsuitable. Imrav Yisrael, but if the majority is Yisrael, then he can assume that the flame is from a Jew, and he can make a bracha on it. Says the Gemara, let's analyze these words. Haguf akashya. They seem to be an inherent contradiction. First you say, Amris imnoiv nachmen. If the majority are goyim, it's unsuitable. That implies that if it's 50-50, it's okay. If it's 50-50, half Nachem, half Yisrael living in the city, then we can assume that it's okay. Mevarich. Then you go ahead and say, Imrav Yisrael Mevarich. Only if it's a majority of Yisrael, then it's okay. That implies that if it's 50-50, it's no good. Any Mevarich. Says more, you're right. Bedinhu, da afilu mechza na mevarich. You're right. We have to focus on the first part of the brayso. If it's roiv goyim, then it's unsuitable. That implies that if it's mechza, if it's half and half, it's okay. V'aydi, the Tana Reisha, roiv nachem, Tana Sefer of Yisrael. Now, the reason why the Sefer speaks about a roiv Yisrael, even though it's not really necessary, even if it's merely half Yisrael, it's already suitable, but it's aidi, it's on account of the fact that the brayso used the term roiv in the first part of the brayso. The brayso already uses the same type of terminology in the Sefer of the brayso, even though it's not really necessary. Again, if it's roiv goyim, it's unsuitable, but if it's mechza, then it's okay. We don't require it to be roiv Yisrael. He's taking a walk outside the city. He noticed a child with a torch in his hand. So by the gacher he investigates. Im Yisrael mevarich. If the child is a Yisrael, then he can make the bracha. Im nachri and mevarich. But if he's a non-Jew, then it's unsuitable for bracha. Says in why do you need to mention the case regarding a child? I feel gadol nami. Why shouldn't this case apply to an adult as well? Amar bidam Rav, you're right. We're speaking about a case where it is in close proximity, is right after Shkiyas Achama. Now, we know that we're meant to wait until it gets really dark in order to do malacha. So, explains the Gemara, if it's a gadol, if it's an adult holding this flame, apparently he's not Jewish. A Jewish person wouldn't hurry up to grab a torch at this early moment. Says the Gemara, gadol, if it's a gadol much, it's pretty obvious the vadei nachri is certainly a guy, and therefore it's unsuitable for a bracha. However, if it's merely a teenage, a child, Eimar Yisrael ikivinakat. I can speculate, perhaps it's a Yisrael, ikivinakat, he chanced and he grabbed the fire. Therefore, in a case of a child holding the torch, there's room to perhaps speculate that he's a Jew, and the bracha is suitable on this flame. He was walking outside the city of Ur, and he sees a flame. Says the Gemara, if the size of the flame is equal to the opening of the furnace, it's a significant flame, then he could safely assume that this flame is intended for illumination, and therefore it is suitable for the bracha. But if it's a smaller flame, then we have to suspect that it was lit for the purpose of cooking with it. It was levashel, and as Rashi says, the bracha is not said only ella al shenaser laha'ir. Amatzah Shabbos, the bracha is only said on a flame that was lit, that was kindled for the purpose of laha'ir, to illuminate. Therefore, a fire that was lit for any other purpose, for instance, for baking or cooking, is not suitable. It says in Martani Chadi of one Brachos, which says Urshal Kivshem Mevarchen Alav, the flame of a furnace is suitable. V'Tanya Idach, we have another Brachos which says Ein Mevarchen, it's not suitable. Ein Mevarchen Alav. How do we explain this? It says in Marloi Kash, it's not difficult. Ha betchila, ha lebasayf. It depends at what point. If it is a fire that was in the beginning of the burning process of the furnace, they used to burn their stones in there, so that fire wasn't meant for illumination, it was meant to burn the stones. Ha betchila, the fire that was there in the beginning of the process, is not intended for illumination, is not intended la'ira, and therefore it's not suitable. Ha lebasayf, the Brachos which says that the urshal kivshan, the fire of the furnace, is suitable for the bracha, is at the end of the process. Rashi says after they burnt their stones, they would make another fire to finish the burning process. It was also intended to be used for oil, for illumination. Therefore, that fire, since it's also intended for oil, it is suitable for Matzah Shabbos. Continues the Gemara. Tani Chadi, we have one Brachos which says Urshal Tanu v'Shal Kirayim Mevarchen Alav, the fire in a stove or in a kirayim, a different type of stove, Mevarchen Alav, is suitable. V'Tani Idach, we have another Brachos which says Ein Mevarchen Alav, we can't make a bracha on it. Like Kasha, it's not difficult. Says the Gemara, betchila habasayf. Depends at what point. If it is betchila, the fire that's there at the beginning of the cooking or baking process, then that is not meant for illumination. It's not meant la'ira, and it's unsuitable. However, lebasayf, at the end of the baking process, Rashi says, after the bread was ready in the oven, they would take some splinters of wood and light it at the mouth, at the opening of the oven, to A, contain the heat inside, and B, to provide light. Therefore, since it's coming to provide illumination, it is suitable for our bracha. Continues the Gemara. Tani Chadi, we have one Brachos which says Ur Shabbos HaKnesses, v'Shabbos HaMedrash Mevarchen Alav. It is suitable for the bracha. Tani Idach, another Brachos which says Ein Mevarchen Alav. It is not suitable. Like Kash, it's not difficult. It depends. It depends. Hadik Adam Chashiv. It depends if there is an Adam Chashiv, a prominent person present. In that case, the flame was lit for his covet, to honor him, and therefore it is unsuitable for us. However, the Brachos which says that you may make the bracha on the fire in the Beis HaKnesses or the Beis HaMedrash is speaking about the lek Adam Chashiv. There is no prominent person present, therefore, certainly in that case, the flame was intended for la'ira, lahayir, for illumination, and it is suitable. If you will, we will say as follows. Both cases, both Brachos. The Brachos which says that the fire of the shul is suitable, and the Brachos which says it's not suitable, are both speaking about there is an Adam Chashav here. For like Kasha, it's not difficult. It depends. Hadika Chazna. It depends if there is an attendant that is living there and needs to eat his meal with the light of this flame. So certainly in that case, the flame is there also for the attendant, and it is meant la'ira, to illuminate, and therefore it is suitable for the bracha. But the Brachos which says that we cannot make a bracha on the fire, the flame of the Beis HaKnesses, Beis HaMedrash, is speaking about the leka chazna, and there's no attendant there. He doesn't need this flame, he doesn't need the light, and therefore, since there is an Adam Chashav there, so certainly the fire was lit, was kindled on behalf of the Adam Chashav to provide him with covet. V'ibay is saying, if you will, we will say as follows. Hava adika chazna, we're speaking about in both brises that there is Adam Chashav here, and there is an attendant there. V'loi kasha, it's not difficult. Hadika Sahara. One brisa, the brisa which tells us that the flame is unsuitable, is speaking about the Ikasara. There's a radiant moon there that provides sufficient light for the chazna, for the attendant. And therefore, apparently, the flame that they kindled was for the sake of the prominent person, l'kavod, for his honor. And is not considered to be la'ira and is unsuitable for us. V'ha, the brisa which tells us that the flame in the shul is suitable, is speaking about the Lecha Sahara. There's no radiant moon, and therefore, since the attendant needs it for his meal, therefore, evidently, the fire was lit for the sake of l'hayr, for illumination of the chazan of the attendant. And even if there is an Adam Chashav, it is considered to be a fire which was intended l'hayr and is suitable for Motzei Shabbos. So, in conclusion, a flame which is coming l'hayr, it's coming to provide illumination, is suitable. Regarding a flame of a furnace, if it's the tchilas kivshan, the beginning of the process, it's unsuitable. Why? Because it's coming to burn the stones. It's not coming to illuminate. If it is seif kivshan, at the end of the burning process, indeed, it is suitable. Why? Because it is also coming la'ira. If it is the tchilas tana, the fire that is the beginning of the baking process, it's unsuitable because it's coming to cook and to bake. If it's at the end of the baking process, it is suitable, because although it's coming also to preserve the heat, but it's also coming la'ira. The illumination aspect of it is coming strictly to provide light. Regarding the flame in a shul, so if there's no Adam Chashav, then certainly it's coming to illuminate and it's kosher. But if there is an Adam Chashav, then it's not suitable. Why? Because although it's also coming la'ira to provide light for the congregants, but since this same light, this same illumination is coming l'chaved to honor the prominent person, therefore it's unsuitable. When there's an Adam Chashav with a chazer, with an attendant, then this fire is considered to be suitable. Why? Because although it's coming l'chaved to honor the Adam Chashav, but we have two other aspects here. It is coming to provide light, la'ira, for the congregation, also to provide light for the chazna, so it's 2 against 1. We follow the roiv, and it has a status of la'ira and kosher for the bracha. Finally, if we have an Adam Chashav, a prominent person, together with a chazan, but the chazan doesn't need this flame, he already has the sierra, he has the radiating moon. In that case, we go back and we make it unsuitable, because this flame is serving to honor the Adam Chashav, although it's also providing illumination for the congregants. Since this same illumination is coming to provide honor and covet for the Adam Chashav, it does not have the status of a fire that's coming la'ira, and it's unsuitable for the bracha Motzei Shabbos. Continues the Gemara. They were sitting in the Beis HaMedrash, and they were served, they were given this fire on Motzei Shabbos. Each individual should make a bracha for himself. One makes a bracha on behalf of everybody. He might see everybody. Why? With the multitude of the nation, that is an honor to the king, to Hashem. So we're meant to make a bracha in unison, in harmony, together with the large crowd. That is a superior bracha. Says we understand Beis Hillel. They explain the reason for their opinion, because B'roi Ba'amadas Melech is better. Ela Beis Shammai, my timer. What is the reason for Beis Shammai, who say that each one should make a bracha on his own? Because Savri, they hold bitul Beis HaMedrash. We're not meant to make a ruckus here and go making everybody a bracha together, because it creates a disruption in Beis HaMedrash. Everyone is to wait for everybody else's attention, so they could pay attention to the one that we're making the bracha. It takes a long time. Therefore, better make your own bracha quickly and minimize the disturbance of the learning. They wouldn't say the word marpe. When one sneezed, they wouldn't say marpe, or some have the lashon asusa, health. They wouldn't respond to one sneezing with the word health. Marpe b'beis hamedrash. Why? Bitul beis hamedrash, not to disrupt beis hamedrash. Interesting that the Gilin Hashas brings the medrash in Pirkei Rav Eliezer that explains the background for responding with the word marpe to one who sneezes, and the medrash says as follows: Miyayim shenivru shamayim v'aretz, from the day of creation, lo yaya adam choyle. A person wouldn't take ill before he passes away. He would pass away suddenly, without pre-warning. Elam hoya b'derech, he was walking on the road, or he was in the marketplace. and he would sneeze, that would be the sign of his passing. And his neshama would leave through his nostrils. So he would have no prior warning. Yaakov Avinu came and he asked Rachmanis and he said to Hashem, Hashem, al tikach nafshi mimeni, don't take away my nefesh. Until I have the opportunity to be b'tzaveh banai, to instruct my children, to give them a will. Give me an indication, give me a sign before I pass away. And Hashem acquiesced to him, and therefore we find that since then, people generally take ill before they pass away, to give them that chance, that opportunity, and the indication of the fact that of the forthcoming event. Says the Medrash, that is the basis for saying Chaim when one sneezes. Because this indication of death, this sign of death was transformed and is no longer a sign of death. Therefore, we say Chaim, we say Gesundheit, we say bless you, we say Marpe Asusa, to indicate that this is something which used to be an indication of death, but now is no longer. The Yasha Shlomo says it's actually a tefillah, it's a prayer to Hashem that He should give the person life. And this is in place of what used to happen earlier. So the Gemara concludes that in the Beis HaMedrash, Beis Ram Gamliel wouldn't say this word in the Beis HaMedrash since it caused a disruption. It caused bittul Torah. Continues the Gemara, Ein mevarchen lo al ner, v'lo b'sam shel meisim. The ner or b'sam of a used for a mace is unsuitable. My time of why? Says the Gemara, ner l'kavod Davida. The ner is kindled by the mace in his honor, and it's not la'or, it's not coming to illuminate, therefore it's unsuitable for the bracha Motzei Shabbos. What about the b'samim? Lavuri reicha David, it's meant to deodorize, and therefore since it's not coming for the intent of enjoying its fragrance, therefore no bracha is recited. Says the Gemara, Amar Vidam Rav, Kol shemoitziin lafanav b'yoyim, when we have a mace, a nifter, a person who passes away, and he is a prominent person, that they would take out candles in front of him, even by day. It's not coming to illuminate, but rather for his honor, for his covet. He's that type of person, he's a prominent mace. Kol shemoitziin lafanav b'yoyim, then, u'balayla mevarchen alav. Then even at night, even if it's dark, and now they kindle the candles, we don't make a bracha, a boimer eish on that light. Why? Because since they would do it even by day, so evidently the purpose of these candles, of this flame, is to serve as a cover for the mace. And therefore even at night, when it's coming also to illuminate, it is unsuitable for the bracha boimer eish. As we said earlier, only a flame which is coming to illuminate is suitable. Again, says the Gemara, Amar Vidam Rav, Kol shemoitziin lefanav b'yoyim u'balayla ein mevarchen alav, v'chol shemoitziin lefanav ela b'layla. But if it's not such a prominent mace, that in front of this mace we only take out these candles at night, so evidently it's coming to illuminate. It's not coming for cover. In that case, mevarchen alav. In that case, this fire that's coming to provide light is suitable for the bracha boimer eish. So again, kol shemoitziin lefanav b'yoyim v'layla, a mace who is prominent enough that we take out the candles in front of him by day and at night. In this case, ein mevarchen alav. It's the covet. But shall kol shemoitziin lefanav ela b'layla, that is coming to illuminate and mevarchen alav. Amar Rav Huna, b'sam shel beis hakisei, the fragrance that is brought into the beis hakisei to deodorize, v'shemen asher beis hazuma, the fragrant oil that's coming to remove the soil from the dirt from one's hands, to clean one's hands. Ein mevarchen alav, we do not make on these items the bracha borei atei b'samim or baramina b'samim, because it's not intended for enjoyment of its fragrance. Says Gemara lemeimra, apparently you hold the kol echad lav lo yichal bida, when something is not coming for enjoyment, we don't make a bracha on its fragrance. Meisvei, we have a brayso which says anichnas lachanusa shel basam, if one enters the store of a merchant, a b'samim merchant, ve'riach reach, and he smelled the reach, afilu yoshev sham kolayim kula, even if he sits there the entire day, and he continuously smells, ein mevarch lo pamachas, he only makes one bracha because there was no interruption. However, nichnas v'yatsa, if he goes in and out, then we have an interruption, a hefsek, mavarich al kol pam v'pam. He needs to make a separate bracha on every time, apparently. Even the besamim in this store, which is not meant for enjoyment purposes, he merely has it there on display for sale. Nevertheless, we make a bracha on it. It's not intended for enjoyment purposes. And he still makes a bracha, says more in. It's also meant for enjoyment. So that people smell. And they come in and they buy from him. So it has a purpose of, it is also there with the intention to provide the enjoyment of smell. A person was walking outside the city, and he smells the good fragrance. If the majority of the inhabitants of the city are goyim, you can't make a bracha on it. But if roiv are Yisrael, then indeed mevarach you can make a bracha, because we assume that the psamim coming out there is coming from a banquet of the mesiba of the goyim, which was to serve, to honor their avodah zarah. Therefore, if there's roiv goyim, we can't make a bracha on it. Rabbi Yisrael, I feel Rabbi Yisrael nami in mevarach. Even if roiv are Yisrael, you can't make a bracha. Why? Because Jewish women, Jewish girls are mekatus kshafim. They burn these incense for kshafim, for sorcery purposes. And therefore, one may not make a bracha on this. Says the Gemara, atukulu kshafim mekatron. Majority are mekata, they burn the psamim for the kshafim. How could he say so? Says the Gemara, you're right. Havli mi'uta kshafim. Although only in a minority do it for this purpose, but there's another miut. Miut nami l'gamer sakelim. There is a miut which used the psamim to perfume the clothing. If so put together both minorities, ishtakach, so in total, ruba de lavreichad, we find that most is not intended for enjoyment purposes. We have a bit that uses it for kshafim, we have a bit that's used for perfuming the clothing. So that equals a majority. A majority that's not intended for l'reach, v'chol ruba, l'rav l'reicha avid loy mevarach. And the majority that is not intended for the reach, for enjoyment purposes, for smelling enjoyment purposes, is not suitable for the bracha of Berei Atzei B'samim, Berei Mina B'samim. One takes a walk on Erev Shabbos in Tveria, or b'Motzei Shabbos is b'Tzipori, in the city of Tzipori, Motzei Shabbos, v'riach reach, and he smells a good smell, Eino Mevarach. He can't make the bracha. Why? We presume that the smell is coming from these individuals that were perfuming their clothing. In Tveria they did it on Erev Shabbos, on Tzipori they did it on Motzei Shabbos. Therefore, since it is not intended for the enjoyment of smelling, therefore it's not suitable for the bracha. He was walking in the marketplace of Avodah Zarah, and he smells a good fragrance, and he intentionally, willfully ingests it and enjoys it. He is a sinner. So only if he intends to enjoy and to smell it and to enjoy it, that is a chet. But if it's unintentional, inadvertent, that is not a chet. Continues the Gemara, we don't make a bracha on the fire, on the flame of the Shabbos until you benefit from it. Doesn't mean literally that he benefits from it. Ella, what it means is as follows: that the flame needs to be powerful enough that should he decide to stand next to it, then he would derive benefit from it. It would illuminate him. If he would be standing next to it, then he would be able to derive benefit from its illumination. It is strong enough to illuminate for one who is standing close to it. So it's a condition in the actual fire. It needs to be strong enough to theoretically provide illumination for one who stands within close proximity. But even if this person happens to be standing far away and doesn't actually practically have any benefit from it, he still can make the bracha of Bayir Ma'aresh on this fire. Even if he's standing far away. Meisvei, we have a brayso which tells us otherwise. If one has a candle that is hidden in his basim, or bepanos that is in a lantern, so it's hidden. Or he notices a flame, but it doesn't actually, he's not actually deriving benefit from its illumination. Or in the reverse, he's using the oil, the illumination of Lo Shaleves, so he doesn't actually see the flame. He can't make a bracha until he actually sees the flame. And he makes use of its illumination. Says let's analyze this clause, that mishtamish lo'ira, that he's using the illumination, but he hasn't seen the actual flame, and therefore he can't make a bracha. What is it speaking about? Mishkachas. It is speaking about the following case: the kaim b'keren zavis, that the flame is behind a keren zavis, a corner. So he's standing close by. He has the illumination, but he doesn't actually see the flame, which is hidden from you. But the other clause, he sees the shalheves, he sees the flame. However, he's not benefiting from the illumination. What type of case is it speaking to? Speaking about, what is it referring to? Love, is it not speaking about the case? The meracha, that the flame is far away, so he sees the flame, but he doesn't have the illumination benefit. And the Brachos tells us that that is unsuitable for a bracha. So this is a steer contradiction to the halacha. Says the Gemara, Loi. We're not speaking about that case. Kigoyin, rather, it's speaking about the Amiyah Ba'azla. It's progressively dimming. We're speaking about a flame which is dimming and doesn't have the power to illuminate. Therefore, certainly it's unsuitable for a bracha. What I said, what Rabbi Rav said, that one may make a bracha on a flame which is situated in the distance. He's speaking about a powerful flame that has the ability to illuminate if one should be standing close to it. Therefore, even if you're far away, you can make a bracha on that fire. But if the fire itself is dimming, it doesn't have the power to illuminate, that is not a suitable fire, and that is what the Brachos is speaking about. If you have whispering coals that are active, you can make the bracha on them. Of Bari Meresh. If they're dimming, you can't make the bracha on it. What is the definition of loichashois? Amar Chisda, kol shu machnis, if you should place a kisam, a little piece of wood, and this splinter would catch fire on its own, so evidently it has enough fire in there and is considered to be active gecholim, active coals, and has the status of fire to make the bracha on them. Says the Gemara, how do you read oimamois with an aleph or with an ayin? How do you spell it? Iboilu oimamois with an aleph, oimamois with an ayin. Tashma, the cedars didn't dim him, didn't dim the splendor. So you see that dimming is spelled with an ayin. Here too, ayin is the proper way of spelling it. So we have one shita again, that even if there's one standing in the distance, he can make a bracha on the flame, on the powerful flame that has the power to illuminate, should he choose to stand nearby. V'Rav Amar, no, ye'oisu mamish. When the Mishnah says you make a bracha only when you are ye'oisu lo'ir, when you have the benefit. We're not speaking about the condition of the actual flame. We're speaking about you. You need to derive benefit from the flame. You need to stand nearby and derive benefit from the illumination. V'kama, and how close do you need to stand? Says the Gemara, Amarava, K'dei sheyakir bein isur lepunyan. It needs to be close enough that you can be able to tell apart the coin of an isur from the coin of a punyan. Chizki Amar K'dei sheyakir said he can differentiate between meluzma shel tveri, between this weight of tveri, or meluzah shel tzipori, a different type of weight of tzipori. Says the Gemara, Rav Yehuda Mevarach, he would make the bracha bar marish on the fire that he found in the house of Adadaila, which was situated in the distance. So he would make a bracha on the fire, on the flame, on the fire that was far away from him, in accordance with the shita of Rabbi Rav. Rav, however, says Rashi, Rav Mevarach advei Guri bar Chama. He made the bracha on the fire which was in the home of Guri bar Chama, which was situated close to his home. He held that one must derive benefit from it. Therefore, you need to be close by to have the illumination. Concludes the Gemara, Abai Mevarach advei bar Avua, and it's not clear if it was close by or far away. Rashi doesn't explain. And some of Farshim, one of the other Rishonim actually has a different gerus in the Gemara. He says, Rabba Mevarach advei Guri bar Chama. So it's a different shita, and according to this pshat, all three of them insisted on making the bracha on the fire, permitted making the bracha on the fire with the first shita mentioned earlier in the Gemara. Says the Gemara, one needs not search for a flame on Matzah Shabbos to make the bracha. Just like a person searches for mitzvahs. Meaning, the bracha on the flame on Matzah Shabbos is not an obligation. It's a brachas hashvach. it's a praise, it's a commemoration of the fire of Adam Rishon. So it's like any other brachas hashvach, like a bracha on a thunder or lightning. When a person encounters it, he makes a bracha. He doesn't need to go look and search for it. Amar Abzir, Mireish, initially you have mechal hadranash to look for a fire to make the bracha. I thought that it was required. Even the Shamanalo, the Rabbi Yehuda Marav, since I heard the statement that it is not a requirement, I don't either search anymore. Ella, rather, mikla memela. If it happens to be that it chances next to me, I find one, and it's available, mevarchin, I make the bracha. So I don't go look for it. But if it's here and it's available, then I make the bracha. Continues the Gemara, Misha Achal, we have a machlekes in the Mishnah of one had a meal and changed locations. And he remembers that he hasn't made a bracha yet. According to Beis Shammai, he needs to go back to the original location to make the bracha. According to Beis Hillel, he can make the bracha where he is presently. Omar Rav Zid v'Tem Rav Dima Abba machlekes b'shachach. The machlekes. Beis Hillel allow him to make the bracha here. It's only when he forgot, when it was inadvertent. Abba b'mezid, but if he intentionally switched places, he knew that he hadn't yet made a bracha, and he went and he went to a different location prior to Brachos Hamazon. Everybody agrees, even Beis Hillel agrees, that he's obligated to go back. This is more pshita. It's pretty obvious from the Mishnah. The Mishnah says the machlekes is only when they forgot. Says the Gemara, perhaps I would think, who I did not feel amazed that the same machlekes will apply to amazed, to one who left his original location intentionally. Even then, Beis Hillel allow him to make the bracha here. If so, why does the Mishnah mention v'shachach? He forgot. It's coming to teach you the extent of the leniency of Beis Shammai, even when the stringency of Beis Shammai, the chor of Beis Shammai, even when he forgot, he needs to go back to his original location. Kamash Malan. Therefore, Rav Zvid needs to teach us. No. The only machlekes is when it's shachach. However, when it's mezid, when it's intentional, there's no machlekes. They still agree that he's required to make the bracha in his present location. Says the Gemara, Tanya, according to you that you're required to go back. A person ate his meal on top of the mansion. Then he forgot and he went down without a bracha. You were required to climb all the way up on top and make the bracha. How can that be? According to you, person forgets his wallet on top of the mansion. Do you think he won't go back and retrieve it? If so, if he's going for his own honor, certainly for Hashem's honor, he should go back. Says the Gemara, there were two students, one was very machmer, very stringent. Even when he was b'shaygig, he forgot. It was inadvertent that he changed location. Still, he was machmer like Beis Shammai, and he went back to make his bracha. What happened? He found a wallet with gold coins. Some Mepharshim say this was a kiyum, a fulfillment of the words of Beis Shammai. And you know, tzaddik goyzer HaKadosh Baruch Hu mekayim, and a tzaddik decrees Hashem fulfills. The fact that Beis Shammai used these words, if you go back for his wallet, so that's why this happened to this Talmud. He was stringent, he was machmer like Beis Shammai, he found a wallet. The other student did just the opposite. B'mezid, he intentionally left his place, and still, he didn't bother going back. He followed Beis Hillel's shita, and he made the bracha here. He thought that he blamed his conduct on Beis Hillel. We know that Beis Hillel hold that even by Mezid he needs to go back, but he followed Beis Hillel even by Mezid. And what happened to him? Va'achle arei, a lion ate him up. So in conclusion, regarding one who ate in one location and changed locations, is he required to be Yachslim Kami Vivarach? According to Beis Shammai, yes. Whether it's Shayi, whether it's Mezid, regardless, he needs to go back. According to Beis Hillel, Beis if he changed places inadvertently, he needs to not go back. But if he changed his place intentionally, then he needs to go back. Continues the Gemara, Rabba Bar Chana, V'kozal B'She'arasa, he was traveling with a caravan. Ochal, he ate his meal. Ishtaliv Le'birch, he forgot to make Brachos Hamazon, and they already continued on. Omar, he said, Hechi Avid, what should I do now? What am I going to do? If I will go tell them, the rest of the group, I will tell them, in Shoy Levarach, I forgot to bench, I need to go back. Amrli, so they'll respond to him, Baruch Chacha, you can make the bracha here. Kalecha the Mevarchas, wherever you make a bracha in the world, Rachmana, wherever you make a bracha to Hashem, Mevarchas Mutav. Kalecha the Mevarchas Rachmana, Mevarchas. Wherever you bench to Hashem is good. Hashem's glory, Hashem's presence fills the entire world. Wherever you bench, it's fine. Why didn't you go back there? So therefore, Rabbi Chanan says, I won't tell them the truth. I'll tell them, Mutav, it's better if I tell them that Minalu and Shayni Yonah Dahav, I forgot. I left behind a gold dove. And therefore I need to go back. So that's what he told them. Amrli, he told them internally, wait for me. Why? Then Shayni Dahav, I left behind a gold dove. Azal, he returned to Baruch and he benched. And what happened? And he indeed found a gold dove. It says, why specifically a dove? What is the significance? The Mesile Kresis Shol Yoina, because Klal Yisrael is compared to a dove, the Chsiv, Kanfi Yoina, the wings of a dove, Nechva Kesef, covered with silver, Brachos covered with gold. Ma Yoina, Einen Itzelas El B'Chanfeh, just like a dove protects himself, wards off the predator with its, either it runs away or uses its wings as protection. Af Yisrael, so to Yisrael in Tzolam of mitzvahs are saved, are protected through their mitzvahs. So this was in a remes. This symbolizes the commitment of Rabbi Chana to fulfill the mitzvah in its highest form, in its highest manner. Continues the Gemara, Emasai, until when could one make a bracha achrona? The Mishnah says until Ashis Akal Hamaz, until the food gets digested. Kama shirka, what is the shir? What is the amount of time of equal of digestion? As long as he's not yet hungry. So apparently, he's still in the process of digestion. As long as he's still thirsty as a result of his meal, apparently the meal hasn't fully digested and requires the drink to aid in the drinking in the digestion process. So apparently it's still prior to the shir equal and he can still make a bracha achrona. Some say it was Rav Yemer Bar Shizra Azutra. Me, Amar Rish Lakish Hachi. Is that so? The Rish Lakish holds that the shear, as long as he's still thirsty from this meal, what is the shear of digestion? The time that it takes to walk 4 milin, according to some sheet, is 72 minutes. So this is a contradiction. So it's more like kash, and it's not difficult. It depends what type of meal. By a large meal, then the shear is dalad milim. A small meal, then the shear is as long as he's still thirsty on account of the meal. Continues the Gemara. The Mishnah concludes that if a person merely hears part of the bracha, the ending of the bracha, he can say Amen. L'meimer, apparently you hold the Yisrael that if he hears only part of the bracha recited by a Jew, he can say Amen. If he's coming to be yaitze with that bracha, to fulfill his obligation on account of hearing the other person's bracha, if he hasn't heard the entire bracha, how can he be yaitze? No, we're speaking about that he hasn't eaten with them. He doesn't need a bracha. He's merely coming to answer Amen. Therefore, certainly he can answer the Amen only on a partial bracha. Continues the Gemara. Rav instructed his son as follows: Bri, my son, hasten, go and try to get a hold of the koshel bracha by Birchas Hamazon. Rav instructed his son Rabba, because making the bracha is greater than merely answering Amen. Says the Gemara, Lemeimer apparently holds the mevarich adif, one who makes the bracha, is greater, is better, adif mimandi on the Amen, than the one that merely answers Amen. V'atanya, haven't we learned just the opposite? The one who answers Amen is greater, greater than the one that actually makes the bracha. I'll prove it to you. Hashemayim, this is Lashon Shvua, Keinu. This is, in fact, the reality. That the one that completes it is the one that is on a higher level. Teida, I'll prove it to you. Sharei, by a war. Gul Yorin Yordan Muskar Muhammad. The standard soldiers, the common soldiers go down and begin the war. But who completes the war? Who brings about the success, the conclusion of the war? But the champions are the ones that come down and they win the war. So apparently it's the ones that conclude the war, that conclude the process, that are superior. Here too, the one that answers Amen, that concludes the bracha experience, he is superior. Says the Gemara, if so, we have a contradiction. First we said that the Rabbi Yossi said There was a brisa that the one who answers Amen is greater, and now we had a story with Rav Huna telling his son to try to get hold of the kosher bracha because the mevarich is better. So which one is greater? Is it the mevarich or is it the Eini Amen? Says the one, indeed it's a machlokes Tanaim. Tanai, the Sani will learn brisa echad mevarich, the one that makes the bracha, ve'echad Eini Amen, both the one that makes the bracha and the one that answers the Amen b'mashma are included in this pasuk which describes praising Hashem. Rashi brings the pasuk and the Nehemiah there, so they're both included. Ella, but shememarin lemevarich, that from heaven they hasten the reward to the one that makes the bracha, yoismin on it more than the one that answers Amen. So apparently this brisa holds that the mevarich is on a higher level. So this brisa tells us that the mevarich is on a higher level, and we have a brisa from Rabbi Yossi which tells us the opposite, that the one who answers Amen is actually on a greater level. Continues the Gemara. Boy mirei Shmuel merav. Shmuel asked the question of Rav. Ma'ula anis Amen achar tenek shveish ramen. Can one answer Amen when he hears a bracha from the children in their Beis Rabban by their Rebbe? Amalei, he told him no. Achar hakol ein Amen. One answers Amen after every bracha, except chutz mitenek shveish rabban, except for these children. Hoya, why? V'lislam edasoin. They're merely coming to practice. They're not coming to really bless Hashem. Therefore, Amen is not appropriate. V'hana milis is only said when they're not saying the brachas during the haftarah and shul. But then certainly they're making the bracha for the haftarah, for the reading in the shul. In that case, Rashi says when they say the haftarah and they make the bracha on the Torah and the Navi, in that case certainly it's a proper bracha, and a Amen is required even after the bracha of a child. The oil which they would bring at the end of the meal to clean their hands, that is ma'akev. It prevents Brachos Hamazon. One is meant to first use the shemen and then proceed with Brachos Hamazon. Divrei Rav Ziloi. Rav Ziloi me'ein ma'akev. It doesn't prevent. Rav Achai means shemen toiv ma'akev. The fragrant oil, to one who is accustomed to having this fragrant oil, that is ma'akev. One is to use this oil and then continue with Brachos Hamazon. Rav Ziloi omer kishem shemazum pasal avoid. Just like a foul-smelling person is unfit to do the service in the Beis Hamikdash, kach yadayim mezuham, soiled hands, foul-smelling hands, is the bracha unfit for a bracha. One needs to clean his hands prior to Brachos Hamazon. Omer Rav Nachman, Vayitzlak, I loy ziloi v'loy zivoy v'loy zimoy. I don't know. I don't reckon with the statement from Rav Ziloi or from Zivoy or from Zimoy. I don't reckon with any of this. Ella, I know my halacha from the following brisa. Masnisi yadana. I know the brisa. The Omer Aviv Omer. V'amri lo masnisi tana. Some say it was a brisa. V'izkadishtem. There's a passage which says v'izkadishtem misam kedoshim. So we learn as follows: v'izkadishtem, sanctify yourself. Elu mayim rishonim. This is the mayim rishonim before the meal. V'isam kedoshim, be holy. Elu mayim achroinim. This is the mayim achroinim. Ki kadosh. That's the shemen. That's the oil brought before Brachos Hamazon. And finally, Ani Hashem Elokeichem, and that is Zu Bracha. That is the Brachos Hamazon, which follows all of the above.